Oh, whoa, yo, hold up. The cat's out the bag. Caleb Plant lets it be known that he's rocking and he wants to fight Charlo and get that figured out for this year. Stay tuned to this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Jermall Charlo has officially been called out by none other than Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant, not one to want to mince his words. He decided to make it super outright, in case anyone was wondering, that Jermall Charlo is a potential person on the hit list. Now, this is what he posted. He posted this graphic of, obviously, himself with Jermall Charlo. Doesn't take rocket scientists to understand. It said 2022, Plant versus Charlo, right? So this graphic was probably commissioned or, made. And Caleb Plant, this is what he said. He said, "You've been indirect," and then he tagged Jermall Charlo. So I'll be straightforward. We can figure it out by the end of the year. You're easy work. So clearly, for this fight to happen, it appears that Jermall Charlo would be having to move up from 160 to 168 at this point of his career after making 10 million plus to fight Canelo. I don't really see Caleb Plant moving down to 160, and Jermall Charlo has a big frame, so it makes all the sense in the world that he would possibly move up, especially if he can't get Triple G fights and the Andrade fight hasn't happened, and guys like Canelo have since, and Andrade is talking about moving up as well, but guys like Canelo already moved out of the division, etc. So it's a big fight. Caleb Plant, he could scrap despite getting knocked out and losing to Canelo Alvarez. Canelo just has a lot of experience, and it was a fun fight. It was a competitive fight from my viewing. Like, Canelo was made to think. I don't know if Canelo all the way respected Caleb Plant's power, but at the end of the day, Canelo's Canelo. Jermall Charlo would, if he did fight Caleb Plant, this would be his first fight really at the higher weights at 168, even though I think his frame could actually make it and sustain, and he can campaign there no problem. But that would be a great fight, especially for a first fight, if he's going to move up to 168. However, some are even reporting and rumoring in the in the industry that Jermall Charlo could get called upon to fight Canelo Alvarez himself next. Now, if that is the case, this is a fight Jermall Charlo has been asking for and saying he wants. So nobody's going to turn down a Canelo fight if they're in the running in the sweepstakes. So if Jermall Charlo fights Canelo Alvarez, nobody could be mad at him for that. Because, again, this is a guy he's been calling out longer. So if he's going to move up and he gets that opportunity to fight Canelo, you got to take that, because Canelo hasn't always called out Jermall Charlo or sought out that fight. However, I've told you a pattern with Canelo. Whether you want to admit it or not, Canelo Alvarez seemingly picks guys if they look vulnerable or potentially beatable in their recent performances. And Jermall Charlo, when he fought Montiel, I just thought Montiel was tough. But a lot of people made a big to-do and said that Jermall Charlo, he looked super exposed and vulnerable and blah, blah, blah. So, I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo did pick Charlo at this point. Because the point I'm making is this: you don't see Canelo pick Charlo after, when he has a stellar performance like he did versus Deryevchenko. It's only after the performances like Korobov that were tough fights, guys like Montiel, it's like he's like a vulture waiting for the prey to be wounded, and he's not going to swoop down. It's a scavenger mentality, He's not going to, unless the you know what I'm saying, he's not going to attack the coyote unless the coyote got in a fight with another animal, or another coyote is wounded, and then the vulture will swoop down. So that's kind of Canelo's MO. Either way, I still think the Jermall Charlo fight and Canelo fight is a good fight, but my personal opinion, I'm not too big and too keen, even though I just told you that Jermall Charlo, should he get an opportunity with Canelo, that's just something you can't pass up. So I get it, and I'll understand it if he does get the Canelo fight and take it, but I'm personally not the biggest fan of weight class moving, and unless you establish yourself as guaranteed the end-all be-all at your previous division, or you came close, like really close to that, then I'm not a big fan of weight class moving and moving up and not acclimating, because that's a big ask for, to really expect fighters to move up and take, the consensus #1 person in the new division, and that's your first fight without acclimating and testing the waters. It's just, ultimately it's not the smartest thing to do, but boxing is a business, and if duty calls, you got to be ready. So, it is what it is. But in a perfect world, I think you would take basically a fight that you think is more reasonable if you're moving up in weight, and not necessarily fight whoever they think is #1. But hey, like I said, if Canelo and Charlo fight, then I'll definitely buy it and I'll support the fight. I think it's still a great fight, but that's just my 2 cents. So in a perfect world, if Jermall Charlo is going to move up to 68, I think Caleb Plant would be the more reasonable fight and a great fight. But again, if duty calls and Canelo finally giving you what you want, then you got to be ready. You got to be ready for that. And I think Jermall Charlo will get himself ready. And it's still a dangerous fight, even with no experience from what we've seen from Jermall Charlo. Jermall Charlo, should he fight Canelo Alvarez, it's going to be a good fight. Jermall got a great jab, etc. So I'm not going to spend too much time breaking down the fight unless they're truly fighting. We'll see what's next. But 2022, there's plenty of options to choose from, and that's what I'm liking. We're in the first month of the year, and there's a variety of different fights, a plethora, a litany of different fights that are already being kind of bounced back and forth and rumored and discussed to possibly happen. So I definitely like that. Subscribe to the channel if you like the heat. I'm bringing the heat all 2022. I promise you that. So stay tuned to the channel. Keep it rocking. You know I'm the best. I'm out. And I'm out. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster.